What's going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. This week's video is going live a little bit later than we expected, as we are on business in Kuwait City this week. I hope you're all having an amazing week so far. I've been super busy, so I've only just got round to hosting this session. We are sharing the analysis live from Kuwait City, and we're going to go through the markups as we do every week. The audio may not be the best as I didn't bring my standalone microphone. We're running straight off of the laptop microphone here. So first of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been giving us all the love on the previous videos. So the videos that we posted on the Keep It Simple will be coming out with part 5 when I return home. So hopefully if you are waiting for that, it will be worth the wait. If you haven't already, go and check those videos out. You can find those on the YouTube page, obviously for Pip Surfing Society. And yeah, let's get into this week. So remember, all the links that you need are in the description down below, so the Discord community and everything else that you may possibly want, including the link to follow my TradingView account so you can check out the markups that I give out every single Sunday without fail. Now, this week we only marked up Euro, and we're going to mark up gold live with you guys now on YouTube. So let's take a look at last week's markup first. So of course you can look at this price action chart in last week's live session that we hosted, but you can see that we were looking at Euro coming down before going bullish again, ultimately targeting this high right here, which is the high on the daily time frame. Now when we play this chart, you will see that price action in fact just went bullish, which is fine, and we only gave the one scenario for bullishness, as it opens up a whole new range and everything changes in terms of the dynamic. Now we did say we were going to give an updated chart of this. Unfortunately we didn't get around to doing that, as I was relatively busy preparing for the trip. Now from this markup we of course have given out a new setup, and the setup that we gave out is the setup that we posted on the 22nd, so it was actually 2 days ago. And the idea here is for price action to establish a new high within the range. We're looking at price action possibly pulling down into this hourly area of demand. Now the reason we're looking at this is because price action itself created a low just in here, and this low holds significant liquidity. So the basis of that is that price action is going to take that liquidity and continue going bullish. Now the daily time frame is bullish, the hourly time frames are predominantly bullish, so we expect bullishness again. We have this trend trajectory here pushing price higher, and we're just looking for a tap into here or a play off of that area where investors are clearly coming into the game. We're ultimately targeting this high and the high created right here. Now when I play this, you'll see where we are so far, and we've actually come right down into this area and begin to go bullish once again. So we've actually played almost perfectly off of the area of demand that we were looking for price action to tap into. Now based off of the principle here, this tells us that price action is willing to go higher. We're looking for price to now seek that next point of liquidity. So when we come onto the chart, you can see that we're actually expanding relatively heavily towards that area. I'm just going to move this out of the way. We're expanding relatively heavily towards this area, and we're looking for price action to come up and take out this high. If we take out this high, you could expect a small pullback and then price to continue higher. Now from the price action sort of arrows that we have in place here, it may look like price hasn't really respected what we're expecting to happen, but it actually has. It's come straight down to this area that we expected price to go bullish from, and it's gone bullish, which is great. So from here we're now looking at price action running these highs as stated. If we do tap into this area, there is a chance of a pullback and then a continuation, or a reversal from this level, as we've stated here with the arrows coming down. Now we're not going to expand too much on this because it's already playing out and the targets are already set. So that is pretty much the in and out of what we're looking at for Euro. Now there are a couple of fundamentals that are coming into play at the moment, as there has been of course some military movement across some of the Middle Eastern areas, including Lebanon, and we have, of course, the US involving themselves within that. So based off of the same principle here, we're going to go over to gold now, and we're going to mark up together what I'm looking at for gold. Now you can see from the gold chart, I have not touched this from last week's markup. Last week's markup was in fact similar to Euro, which was at the time we had no clear high formed. We looked at price selling away, which it did. It came down, it didn't quite get to the area we wanted to buy it from, but it continued higher and it took out the high that we had formed. Now, based off this same principle here, I'm looking at price action respecting this higher narrative as it has continued to travel higher, as we called all the way back from where it was selling down in these lows. We said bullish, 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 and it's been bullish since. So we're now looking at a new possibility. So the first thing we're doing is we're looking for the next target. Now price action isn't establishing any long-term highs, so the new target is only going to be here, which it pretty much is at already. So it doesn't leave a huge amount for us in terms of getting into a buy and having a substantial target. Now when we're creating all-time highs like we are here on gold, we will expect for nothing more than price action to continue respecting that bullish narrative. So we're just going to look for areas that could be potential areas of buying, and then we can start to look at possibilities, right? It's just what we're going to be doing. It's the same thing every single week. We give you an area price action is likely to take, an area that we want to trade from, and then we continue to follow that narrative without trying to intervene and predict outlandish reversals. So the daily time frame here, you can see that we are clearly bullish. We're making nothing but bullish gaps all the way to the current price point, which is again an all-time high, as gold has been consistently delivering higher through the last several weeks. We're going to come down to the 4-hour time frame. The 4-hour time frame, of course, we're expecting the same thing, bullishness. Now the key areas to focus on here are the short-term liquidity lows within this area. So the liquid low here, liquid low right here, and the small liquid lows here. They'll be more visible on a smaller time frame, but we're going to stick to the 4-hour as we always do. So we're going to mark this up as liquidity. Now, as I said, there isn't anywhere that we can really look at for price traveling down to, because it's just going up. So chances are it's going to establish a high before it decides to come down and take out any lows. So for now, change this here. For now, we don't have a very concise, if you were, area to focus on. So we have the liquid lows, we have a new target high, which is right here, and we have short-term trajectory. Really overall is the biggest thing here. Now the 2 points we're focusing on are going to be this point here, which again lines up with price traveling back into this trajectory move, so the overall direction that it's traveling in, and it's going to involve price taking out the lows. Now, as I've said before, without a clear high placed, you cannot begin to predict price action selling away, because you have nowhere to sell from and to. And of course we want to buy this, so without pulling back we are just buying at the highest pricing. So it's probably best to either establish something on a lower time frame or wait for a substantial move down, which may not come. So for now, unless you're long-term investing on gold, it's not really the best for what we're looking at. Now the area of demand stays open at the base, and the area of demand right here stays open as well, and we're establishing the basis that we have one target, and we have at the moment a few places to watch. Now remember, when you're watching an area, this means if price gets down to here, we can begin to look for price action to travel higher, if it gets there. If it doesn't, then we simply let it follow the path that it's following at the moment, right? So the idea I have at the moment, of course, not being able to really establish much in terms of targets, is price action playing bullish from this area. If we pull back, again, this is relatively outlandish for an expectation of pulling back to here. This bullish move is going to incorporate the high time frame area of demand and the trajectory that we have in place already. If this area fails, of course, if we get down there, which I doubt we will, but we have to keep in mind that we could. Excuse me. We're going to look for price action to sell lower down if this area begins to fail. And this is where it's going to bring us into the lowest point here, which includes this liquid low, and this new area of liquidity may push us back into the upper movement. But like I said, we're considerably bullish here, so expecting price action just to pull down to here to continue buying is not a great way to have an outlook at the market. Expect it to just keep going up. At the moment, it is only showing bullish narrative. So because we have no clear target, for now, we have to put the marker of just continuing higher, and we'll have to reanalyze if price action does decide to pull back or it does decide to go higher. So at this point, we only have 3 areas to focus on. A new bullish push, which is, in my opinion, imminent. A pullback scenario into this area of demand. This area of demand possibly failing, taking us into the liquid low and the lower area of demand. So there is really not a huge amount to cover on this chart this week. But again, when you're making all-time highs, expect new all-time highs to come. Don't expect every time a new all-time high is met to then make a new low, because that is a completely backwards principle. It's almost expecting price action to reverse when it's clearly trending. So as it stands, we need to wait for a clear higher time frame high to establish, which could be, this could be the high, could end up here. We could just continue up into a ridiculous pricing and then go back on ourselves from that point. Remember, fundamentals are powering gold higher currently because it is a safe haven in terms of assets. So as it stands, guys, I don't really have a huge outlook for gold. So if you do have an outlook for gold and you have a principle that you think is going to play out, then of course join the Discord and share that with the community. I would love to see what you guys have in mind. But for now, these are the areas I'm focusing on if we're lucky enough to see a pullback, which I do not believe is going to happen anytime soon. But if we do, and it's always based off of ifs, then we can begin to buy from these areas. So very simple, guys. Nothing huge. Remember that the days that there isn't a clear entry for you and you don't take a trade are the days where you will make the most money, because you're not going to be losing money. So not every day is a trading day. Just keep that in mind. But please just be open-minded with the all-time highs on gold, because it really has no limit to how high it can go. There will be a fundamental move which I believe will push it down, and this is where it will bring us into these lower areas that I have marked. So if you do want to be up to date with all of the markups that I post on the euro to the US dollar and of course gold, then follow the TradingView link down below. This is going to wrap up the video for this week. It really is a short one, and I will catch you all very soon with some more updates from me here in Kuwait City. And I'll speak to you all very soon, guys. Have an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you all in the next one.